Hello and welcome back to the Rad Nauseam YouTube channel. This video was taken directly from our Twitch stream. If you'd like to check it out, follow us on Twitch. It'll be in the description. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. It really helps us a lot. We're here to just talk about every points update one at a time, break it down, you know how it is, and just go through every card that got pointed. So let's not waste any time. We actually have a card that is on the screen already. It's Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer. It's gone from 1 to 2. Who would like to discuss Ragavan Nimble Pilferer first?
Well, this has to be a mistake, right? Because Ragavan was already 2.
Well, they took it off 2.
Yeah, I believe it's a typo.
Ragavan from 2 to 2 this update.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that makes sense, because you wouldn't put it below 2, right? So it makes sense that it's still at 2.
Not in a
I'm
world
very
where
glad-
mental misstep is 0 points, right?
We're gonna get the mental misstep discussion will be saved for after. Let's not break into that yet.
I think. That's a tough one.
Because we're
I'm
gonna
very
talk.
glad this card's back with 2.
We're gonna talk about the
That
mental
was a good
misstep
one.
stuff. I agree, but yeah, let's talk about Ragavan.
Yeah, talk about the monkey. The monkey's bad. It belongs at 2. It's like a 1.8 point card, and it was in like every red mid range, which was every mid range deck. So
Now a bit of context.
good riddance.
He was in jail, but he's a sneaky little monkey, so he broke out of jail, and then we caught him and put him back in jail.
Yeah, he pilfered some loot, and now he's back in the can.
That's exactly what happened. The committee did say that the reason why they pointed this card is because they're looking at those, those kind of one drops that take over the game. So my question is, when are they going to hit Witch's Oven?
Never, mate. Keep dreaming.
You're
I
gonna have to tell
think
us
I've only
what
seen
that
this up
card
and
does.
played in Commander. Please sacrifice your cat to make food, to bring the cat back.
That's it. I believe that's a combo. No, but seriously, somebody, Ragavan, anybody. I think these cards I'm glad to see this card go.
I think we're going to see this shortly. You can sort of see prior the points up there. I think Ragavan was a less egregious 1 point card than Tamio, which
Agreed.
may be a controversial take. I think Ragavan just feels bad, and I remember when it was first printed and watching like modern players concede after getting hit by one Ragavan, and it's like, yeah, it's unpleasant to have like that exile trigger go on the stack. Yeah, maybe it snipes something important to your deck, and then they get a treasure and they sort of accrue a bit of value. But it's pretty easy to deal with a Ragavan for the most part. It's like not as egregious as like a Tamio turn 1. That if you can sort of start accruing value with that does a lot more meaningful things. I think taking cards from your opponent is a lot less meaningful than drawing your own cards. It doesn't really progress your game plan. There's a lot of decks that you just don't care about what you're hitting from them. So like, while I agree Ragavan isn't a 1 point card in a world where mental misstep is pointed, it's definitely a 2 point card. It doesn't feel like a 2 point card. It feels like it's less, but it's pointed to be conservative.
I
Yeah,
played the card at 2 points ages ago, and it's similar to like Uro, where you don't feel completely great spending a full 2 points on it, but like at 1 it goes into absolutely everywhere and starts to take over things. And I think Ragavan's at its best in like the Grixis Delvar style build, where they play it turn 1, and they either like protect against your first removal piece or protect against your first blocker, and then it takes over. So I'm glad
I'd be very
to see them, like, get out of
surprised.
that space.
I'll be very surprised if
Nation
it gets
actually-
picked up.
I agree that
Yeah,
Tamio
well,
is much more egregious. I think you can tell that by looking at the set symbols, because Ragavan is MH2 and Tamio is MH3.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, but I do
Yeah.
agree. I think Tamio is a much more egregious one-card game plan than Ragavan.
And I think that with like mental misstep being 1 and Ragavan being at 2, we'll see as much play as it was when mental misstep was 0, because like I don't think mental misstep being less like in less decks means that this card is now more playable. I think it'll just go back to being not played.
A couple of comments
Yeah,
from the
that-
chat as well, by the way. I think we're agreeing here that Tamio does feel more hopeless than a turn 1 monkey. I think also on Doc's point about the monkey not that good after turn 3, dash is kind of sometimes good. Like dashing in to like hit their planeswalker when they just removed your threat is not nothing. But I think overall Tamio, I think I'm way more terrified of a turn 1 Tamio, just because of how important card advantage is in our current little meta, and I think a flipped Tamio on turn 2 is very difficult to answer, as opposed to, a Ragavan that gets killed by an Ocelot Pride or something. But I don't know, they're both, like, I'm glad they're both at 2 points. I really did want to see less of these cards in the format, or at least, it has to cost a little bit more to play them, but...
Yeah, being an Izzet aggro player, Ragavan with a day's backup or a misstep backup always felt amazing. The fact that this one mana card can demand premium removal from your opponent sometimes. Yeah, it just felt very powerful. I do see myself pulling out misstep to keep Ragavan in though, just with all the extra one mana pointings.
I think the thing is, when I pulled out my copy of Ragavan and looked at the back, there wasn't a Planeswalker on the back. And that's a big difference between the two.
That's true.
MH4. Coming down.
MH4?
Don't give them any ideas.
It's Ragavan on the front.
It's just a 1 mana Planeswalker. You just cast it, it's a Planeswalker, deal with it. That's
We'll get the nimbler Pilferer in MH4.
Yeah.
Ragavan and Cameo on the one card.
Stop, dude. I guess that's a good segue into the more egregious one. Bloomburrow 2. Bloomburrow 2 is where they're going to do that. Tamio. Obviously a targeted pointing towards food mid-range with this, but, that's fine. I think Tamio, as we said, the committee did say, that this one drop was kind of shaping a number of decks, and, was very problematic. And they wanted to hit those kind of 1 mana win conditions, and Tamio just being evasive and, kind of even like replaces itself with that clue. Like sometimes Ragavan doesn't, but Tamio, even 1 Tamio attack can sometimes replace it. So it's now 2 points. What do we think about Tamio, Inquisitive Student, and then the way more egregious backside of Seasoned Scholar?
This card sucked when it was at 0. And it still sucked when it was at 1, so I'm hoping it doesn't suck when it's at 2.
I think
how many Marit Lages have been blocked by this opponent playing a little 1 mana flyer? I hate it.
Yeah, playing a Ragavan into Tamio is...
This card is like a threat on turn 1. I don't like this card.
I love how your power scaling level is like how annoying this thing is to block my indestructible 2020. It's got nothing to do with anything else it does. It's just like
everyone's playing a 1 mana flyer.
Blocks Marit Lage, get it out of here. Peak lands.
1920 doesn't one-shot your opponent that hasn't fetched all game. Unplayable.
So read the first line of text in flying. That's how Carl Sawkers it blocks Marit Lage. But the rest of us who read, the rest of the text, really dislike this card for how strong it is, or love it for how strong it is, depending on what side of the battlefield it's on.
I really liked the various iterations of like Grixis decks when I first started playing this format again. Where I could play like Faithless Looting and Careful Study and like flip it on turn 2, buy back like a Tainted Pact or something and just do some really egregious combo stuff. Obviously that deck like doesn't exist anymore because there's so many points, but the flip side, and Tamio playing it recently in Walks, where you could just cast a Brainstorm, flip it, tick it up. If they can't kill it, buy back a Time Walk, take like 2 or 3 extra turns just naturally with this thing. It just goes in so many decks and does so many different things. Like it gives you a clue to tinker, or it like gives you just a solid mid-range plan, even if you don't ever flip it. Like it just gives you a clue every turn. And not a lot of like you play it on turn 1. If they don't have a removal spell for it and you attack and you draw your clue, like even if they remove it after that, any of the mid-range game game plan decks know how bad it is to you basically 2-for-1 yourself there. That when you've traded all your resources down and they have a clue or two to start cracking, you just feel so powerless. So I'm glad to see
food mid-range. How food mid-range works.
For sure. I'm glad that it did get pointed, but I loved playing with this card, so I'm bummed that I will never get to play with it ever again.
Is Plagon still in the deck with Tameo being cut from the deck?
Oh, yeah, easy, for sure.
Right,
It's also
that's all that
very
matters.
tracking trying to point your Tameo if they have even just a blue mana open, the potential that they're going to absolutely blow you out with a brainstorm and have a flip in response.
Yeah, I played
Doesn't really
against...
exist for regular.
I played against a game versus Billinghurst at the Winter Lotus, where I had a blue open and a Tameo, and he said he has a prismatic ending, and he goes, "I guess I just lose to a brainstorm," and cast it on the Tameo, and yeah, brainstorm, and he lost to it.
Yeah.
It's it's really hard to play around everything that your opponent could have, and
Sometimes you
also
got to flip the coin.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll save the misstep for later, but there's a lot of good one mana pointings this update that I think a lot of people will want to replace misstep with these 2-point cards, or try to at least.
So
Yeah,
do we see Tameo seeing a lot of play at 2 though? I think it'll still see some play.
absolutely.
I'll
This-
see way
Very
more than
specific
Ragavan.
decks.
Yep, this card is
More than Ragavan, it'd be
Yeah.
defined to control, though, not just like your food mid-range and stuff like that.
all right.
so.
All right. Why are you why are you saying it like that? You kind of like
I read
there
the
was-
food Discord. I see what we were
there was
yapping
a tone with that. I heard that. Yeah, Tameo will definitely see play. There are people on the point of people taking out misstep of the decks. There are people who are just cutting Tameo now and putting that point now in misstep. So there's definitely, I think the number of missteps might be unchanged. It could go either way. I'm not sure which way, but I feel like, myself included and a number of people who were previously playing Tameo have just decided to, that's the cut I'm going to make, and I'm going to replace it with a mental misstep, and mental misstep will replace my other cards that are still good. And that's kind of the swap that some people are making. So something to think about. And I do agree with Doc. There are, there's now less reanimates, less Ragavans, all of that going. But there's, the blowout of misstepping someone's fatal push or Thoughtseize or, hitting their swords is still very high value, and something that, shouldn't be understated. I think misstep is still really good, and probably what a couple of people are going to replace Tameo with. Great. No one wants to disagree with me. Let's go down.
We'll save the misstep discussion till later, right?
Yes, we're going to talk. But this,
There's still one more big card to talk about later that impacts misstep.
yeah, we'll get to Tezzeret soon. But first, let's talk about Manavolt. Oops. First, let's talk about
Close.
this card. Are we the most vocal group of people about this card? I feel like we are.
I don't think I've
No,
heard Nathan
the Eldrazi
shut up
players.
about it. for
True,
months.
the Eldrazi players, all three of them have been extremely vocal. Deadpool.
This is actually Nathan. If you take the mask off, this is Nathan.
It is Nathan. The shape of the head would imply there's no hair under there. Nathan, Deadpool trading card. Talk to me.
Look, this card needed a point a long time ago, and it had nothing to do with judge calls. I think anyone pointing at gameplay being the leading reason for pointing this is cope. This card is very strong, and I don't think I've had as much fun playing the game as I have since I put it in my deck. It is so egregious. If everyone's just been playing it in Grixis or whatever, sure, I get it, it's strong there, but if you've ever ephemerated one of these things, oh my god, that's living. Yeah, it definitely needed to go to a point. It needed to happen a long time ago. A lot of decks got warped. I know that I had to change a lot of cards in my deck to play around this card. And I know a lot of other people have. Yeah, I think it's probably... I don't think it's a 2-point card. I think it's fine at 1. just so that people have to pay to have it in there.
All right. You're only saying that so you can keep playing it in Walks.
I'll cut Spellseeker before I cut Deadpool.
No, you won't.
No, I won't. It's true. It's true. I'm capping.
So
But
I do actually think that Misstep is still relevant here because now there's stocks of what's this card people are playing? Cataran Summons or something?
Oh my! Don't even get me started.
Mercenary.
You can't miss
Yeah,
with the Cataran Summons anymore.
That's legit, Jordan. Yeah, I got Cataran summons at the Winter Lotus. Card is very good.
Mike's calling that Deadpool will be 2 points in a year.
Complexity reasons, right?
I mean,
I think it maybe could if you had like a really saturated mid-range format, but I think it depends what Modern Horizons 4 looks like. But we're moving away from a heavily saturated mid-range format, I feel, at the moment.
Yeah.
Speculation.
I obviously was somebody who made a lot of jokes about Deadpool. I'm glad to see it's gone up. I'm not looking forward to more Eldrazi players, but I am looking forward to people having to pay the toll for this card. And yeah, it's great.
In decks that are running and to point at Walks, Neoform and that sort of thing, mate, getting a Deadpool is bloody great.
Yeah, Nathan.
Yeah, it's very strong play pattern. Walks is probably the only deck looking to register Neoform, so it's already like pretty point dense in its main combo. So having to choose between a Deadpool or a Barrogoyf or a Tameo or a Mental Misstep or something is definitely a very meaningful choice. And something I've said a lot is like the Walks deck is very
can't
good.
play Tameo.
Yeah, sure, you can't play Tameo anymore. But like the Walks deck is very good until the committee like starts pointing things very aggressively, and we're sort of starting to see something along that line with this kind of pointing. This feels like this doesn't feel like a response to a deck being way too good. This feels like a pointing that sort of was a little bit overdue in terms of power level for these cards. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Walk Stonks go down if the next point list has another 7 cards, and then the one after that also. So we'll see.
So we're already talking about like hypotheticals where Nathan's deck is copying more points so he can feel sad for himself. We're already at that point. Normally it takes a couple of weeks to get to that point where we're into hypotheticals about like, oh guys, if my deck cops a bunch of points, it'll be bad.
You could depoint it, right?
Yeah, put time off for 2, why not?
Yeah.
Just run Price of Progress in your 4-color deck, you'll be right.
Speaking of burn spells, this creature negated burn spells and red decks for years. This card has been a threat. Years.
I'm so happy.
It's been a year. Barrogoyf. Now this is a interesting discussion point. Just a couple of things to think about as well. I think the committee also brought up that Emperor of Bones was also something that they were thinking about as a card. Some of us might have the opinion that Emperor of Bones is maybe a more powerful card because of what its ceiling is a little bit higher. But it seems like the committee's gone for Barrogoyf. And just another thing to throw out there as well was this card originally dodged a pointing during the Nethergoyf pointing as well, because the committee wanted to keep decks like Jund not alive, but they wanted to keep Jund powerful by having access to this card instead of Nethergoyf, which was better in Grixis, worse in Jund. So it looks like we've kind of thrown that out, and we've all agreed that Barrogoyf is an exceptionally powerful card, not even in this format. I mean, it sees play in a number of other formats as well. So it's got a point. Who's sad to see Barrogoyf go? No one. Okay. All right.
There you go.
All right.
His burn is excellent.
let me reframe the question. Who wants to talk about Barrogoyf?
I kind of wish I could still have my Barrogoyf because it freed up so many matches single-handedly. Like, you don't have to worry about aggro if you put a Tabernacle or a Barrogoyf in front of them and lands. And that kind of felt great. but I do understand that other decks were probably utilizing that whole side of things a bit better, so it kind of had to go. I'm still a Netherglyph is way more egregious believer, and I think I'm so glad that went to 1 first, but in the time between then and now, I think this has proved it's also kind of worth the 1 point. Not sure if I'll play it for 1 point, but it's worth it.
I think MesoC in the chat sort of hit the nail on the head. It's a 0 point answer to an entire, burn archetype, essentially.
That felt great.
Yeah, like playing blue-red burn, you're sitting there going, well, crap, I've got no way to remove this thing that's going to gain 8 life in 2 turns.
I know Billy's happy that this is pointed now, not because he doesn't want to play against it, because he doesn't want to register it in his deck, because it's objectively correct to play it at 0.
I had stopped registering it already, just because I just started registering, a pile of lands cards that all say land instead. But I don't know, this one feels a bit more contentious to me than the first 3, right? Like Ragavan needing to go back to 2, Tamiyo needing to go up, Deadpool going to 1. All felt like pretty locked in to me, whereas this one feels a bit more borderline with 3 mana, no ETP. But I guess it does boil down to what you said, the comment in the chat. I can't actually see that, but saying that it sort of invalidates a lot of archetypes. But then does any life-linking creature with 4+ power just invalidate burn? Like they're trying to thread it. They're trying to thread a pretty small hole burn in 7 point. Would you just replace this with a life-linking idiot and have the same sort of impact on that matchup?
Where's the Exsanguinator Cavalry? Where are they? That's a 3 mana life-linking menacing.
I believe that's a 2/3. Dies to bolt.
Yeah, it makes blood tokens or something. That card's real.
Shadow Spear?
The power level of the card probably doesn't invalidate the archetype. It's the fact that the black core is so strong that it's in every deck that you have to play against it every time, and you're probably going to lose some amount of games to the card. Whether or not you lose all of the games to the card probably is a bit hyperbolic, but the fact that you would have to play it against when you're playing Grixis, if you're playing against Jund, if you're playing any mid-range deck, essentially is going to have a copy of this in it. And then Storm was even playing it. And I know Storm, at least Richard's Storm with it had Baraglyph in the sideboard. There's definitely a blow to that game plan, because I know Richard wouldn't put nonsense cards in his sideboard for no reason. That is in there for a very specific reason, and the deck losing access to it is going to be meaningful. But yeah, the fact that you had to play against it pretty much every single game except for the mirror is probably. And even the black-white decks, the Taxes deck are playing it, so you're going to face it pretty much every game. And if you can't answer it cleanly, you're probably just going to default lose that game. But obviously it's a singleton format, so you don't see it all the time.
I will be a little disappointed.
The presence of the black core. The black mid-range core was just kind of tying so many archetypes together, whether it's the Mardu or the Grixis or the Jund or the Walks or the Lands or the Orzhov or the whatever have you, the Rakdos. It's the same kind of 5/5 cards that kind of hold together. And Baraglyph and the Bone Man were the 2 kind of top of the food chain first picks in the core. I think Baraglyph's a lot better than Emperor Bones. It has a higher floor, only a slightly lower ceiling, but
You obviously haven't seen what I can do with an Emperor of Bones.
You're different.
I think it should have got a pass just because the art is sick. It should have got a pass just for that.
I've been looking at the art in this slide, and I've been going fuck yeah. I've never actually looked at it enough. Are you looking at the background?
Well, it's because you're blind as shit, dude.
The background is so
too old.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
the teeth give me nightmares.
Nathan's got his special braille deck because he can't fucking read the cards.
Wait. All right.
Slav Squat. Yeah, true. Alright, we've discussed Baraglyph a lot. Actually, I've never looked at Baraglyph like that. He is kind of giving us...
Heels in the sky.
Yeah.
Like one of those Evangelion things.
Hello, Baraglyph. Good night, sweet prince.
Yes, I'm glad to still see this card a lot. And yeah, also... Jordan did say that, a couple of POG locals are kind of looking at prowess just a little bit. I think prowess is maybe going to be a powerful card, a powerful deck in the future. Now that Baraglyph has been put down to 1. But while we're on the discussion of 3 mana cards, Tezzeret, Cruel Captain, has gone from 0 to 1. Once again, food mid-range cops another point. 3 mana Planeswalkers realistically are usually pointed pretty quickly. I think there's a few that maybe aren't.
Shout out to Caper's ability to segue. I reckon that's the only thing in common between Barry and...
I want to front run this discussion and say I want to hear Jack's smooth brain opinion on why
I was gonna throw
point card.
I was gonna throw it to Jack and say, like, Jack, you go first because you're still the outsider in this conversation. You're still the person that thinks Tezzeret is not a point-worthy card. My question to you, Jack, is how much have you drunk tonight?
Not enough, apparently. We're talking about Tezzeret again.
Go on, buddy.
Like I was always in the stand that like you hit the Mana Vault and you hit the Lotus and you hit all those things first before you hit Tezzeret. I think this card was like near point worthy when all those cards were kind of still popping around the format at 1 point or 4 points, whatever it was. I think this card was like sweet inclusion for like Time Vault decks and Painter decks and the like, but I mean, if you're going to hit Black Lotus and Mana Vault in the same update, I guess you can hit Tezzeret. I guess it's okay. It's kind of like a 1 mana Planeswalker when you're casting it off a Mana Vault for, like, 1 point, whatever. I don't know. I think this card's only as good as the deck you put it in, and there's a lot of, like, build around in some sense. So you can't just put it in any deck, but if you hit in the Mana Vault and the Lotus, I guess I can concede a little bit and have this card be 1 point as well.
Yeah, it is actually interesting that you mentioned that. Even in the sort of the update, they mentioned 2 cards that have also been hit in Vault and Lotus. So it's essentially a double pointing either which way.
Yeah, I would have personally liked to see the Mana Vault hit and the Lotus hit and then wait and see if Tezzeret's still as egregious. I think you could have pointed other artifact cards before Tezzeret, like Saga, to 2, but I don't know. I'm going to see if this card still sees any play at 1. I don't know if it will. I don't think Time Vault has the points for it. I don't think Bots has the point for it, so I'm not sure if this card is just dead now.
Here's a interesting thought experiment for you, Jack. So say this
Here we go.
Doesn't,
You're about to get slam dunked.
Pointed, right? Say Tezzeret doesn't get pointed, and they put another point on Workshop or some other bots thing, right? And then how long does Tezzeret stay at 0? If you point it now, you could potentially avoid more points to the artifact-based strategy in the future, because this card won't stay at 0 forever. Like it's just gonna get better with like more artifacts that get printed. The more consistently you can like power it up, it's gonna get pointed eventually.
I don't think the decks that would play Tezzeret can afford to play it at 1 compared to other cards. If you point Shop instead of this, I think this card still sees play and Shop still sees play. And if you point this instead of Shop still sees play at 1. This might not see any play at 1. And it's like decks like Time Vault and stuff. I don't think they actually have enough points to play Tezzeret. Or if they do, they're losing out on other like key cards in the deck. I could just cop Vault and Tezzeret now. I don't think Time Vault lives much more.
So you're more concerned about like the Time Vault deck, not so much the artifact deck.
Not necessarily, just Tezzeret in general. I don't think Tezzeret sees... I think it's a cool card, and it does cool things. There's like lots of choices you can do with it, whether it's the 0, the minus, or the double minus. I just think if you point other cards that will see play at +1, whether it's Workshop or Saga or whatever, that it's more interesting than putting this card to 1 and it seeing it no play at 1.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Like stance on Tezzeret, but I was a little surprised that Tezzeret copped a point and Mana Vault copped a point. Like I did think it was probably going to be one of the two this update, alongside some other stuff in terms of Shops and Storm and that. I don't think it's necessarily a mistake to hit both or anything, but I was a little surprised by it. And it's possible he's right in the sense that you could balance it in a different way, where Tezzeret would perhaps still see a little more play than it might now at 1. But on the other hand, I have seen this card do some just absolutely heinous things, and I still wouldn't be that surprised to see it play at 1 either.
In like looking at the Brushland bots list that Trent was playing, there's 15 targets for the tutor.
Yeah, but like Saga has the same 15 targets, right?
Yeah, and Saga's a point.
Saga's
and takes
little more
3 turns.
Yeah, right. But Saga,
No, he does it once.
goes to 2.
Saga is a little more restrictive.
And it sees play at 2, right? Saga sees play at 2 points. I don't think Tezzeret sees play at 1 point. And my view on the points list is you want all the cards to be able to see play in some regard, and not just like shadow ban cards. I think this is one of the shadow bans.
I respectfully
It is more
disagree.
flexible than Saga in terms of its tutoring. Like it finds coloured things like Portable Hole, for example.
Yeah, but Saga's way more broken than this card.
Agree.
Like the decks where Saga sees play, besides like the Boros players trying to get their Skull Clamp for whatever reason, they're playing a waste in their deck. When the decks like Saga sees play in, whether it's bots or lands, whatever, it's like very much a 2-point card. Whereas I don't think I don't see this card
Stop
seeing
trying to
play.
get Saga put to 2. What are you doing?
Dude, shut up, Carl. Shut up. Shut up, Carl.
I'll play the
Carl does not represent any of our opinions.
1 point.
The
I'll
ramblings
say
of a
2
man
points
who
for it.
thinks that Tezzeret is not a point is also the ramblings of a man that thinks Urza Saga should be 2. So just keep that in mind. When you're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still play
You
this
just don't want
in
another
Time Warp,
food
right?
point.
I don't want
This player
to
hasn't had his dinner yet.
I keep getting punched down. They're just punching down on me all the time. I got 2
Yeah,
points.
me too. Me too. My walk stick cop 3 points, dude. I feel
Chris,
you.
Did you actually play
Three
this?
more to walks.
What?
Did you play this in Food?
I did play this in Food, yeah. Not in Sydney, but I did play it in Food. It was in and out. My choice of deck in Sydney did not play Tezzeret, but I think that was actually probably incorrect. But yeah, I'm considering playing this or Mental Misstep. I just think Mental Misstep is probably more correct. But yeah, we'll see.
As a Time Vault enjoyer, I just want to say Ravenous Panda in the chat. Yeah, look, that's a bit sad. I really wanted Time Vault to not cop too many points.
Yeah.
So Time Vault would still play this, surely?
Yeah.
1?
Yeah.
What are your
Absolutely.
points?
Really
If you play
challenging.
Time Vault for Saga at 1, and you have to pick between Mana Vault, the One Ring, and Tezzeret at that point.
Play those
And you
3
only-
before Saga.
No,
Don't
have
play
you
Mana Vault. Easy.
played Urza's Saga?
Yeah. What's next?
All right. Let's go. Let's talk about Mana Vault.
Mana Vault.
I like Terry. Doesn't get the clown card, the real problem card. In CDH, I'm a Winota enjoyer, so love me some clown card.
Alright, let's talk about Mana Vault now. I'm going to give the same speech but in reverse.
Now we can talk the misstep pointing as well.
Well,
We set it all.
someone go. Oh, it's fine. I'm gonna go for Mana Vault. My opponent on day 2 of the Winter Lotus played a. I mean, this is a bit of a.
day 2.
I did make day 2. I mean, Food Midrange. Go check out my video on Rad Nauseam,
Holy
Team Rad Nauseam on
shit.
YouTube.
Anyone else here make day 2?
I mean, I did. It wasn't that hard. I was playing lands and I made day 2.
That sounds almost impossible.
Do you know
Well,
any other
someone
Lance
else can do
players who
it.
didn't make day 2?
So
There were some that didn't make day 2.
Okay. Here's Billy.
You shaking this fist?
Someone got a little mad I called him blind before, I think.
Someone's mad he didn't make day 2.
Okay. Yeah, my turn. My day 2 opponent played this, then a Tezzeret, then untapped it with Tezzeret, and then Trinisphered me. I think that obviously.
That wouldn't have happened without the Mana Vault. So good thing we pointed
Something-
Mana Vault and Tezzeret.
No, but I agree, right? Because Mana Vault is the kind of the integral part of that specific play pattern that has to go. And there's also, I think Richard's words were, it's the second best ritual we have. Maybe
Yes.
even I mean,
A third.
with the inclusion
Lotus
of
is the best.
true. I mean, yeah, if we call it, yeah, I agree. But yeah, it's one of the best rituals, and it's a monster of a card. So I'm really happy to see this go. I love that the article says like they might cast the One Ring, Sowing Microspawn, or Sire of Seven Deaths. One of those things is
Funny
not
you like
quite
that
like the
one.
other.
Sorry,
I think Mana Vault going to
Everyone
2 is
thinks-
good because all the Eldrazi players, were complaining about Deadpool for ages, and now we're going to hit the Mana Vault and make sure they stay in their cage for a little bit longer.
I think it's undeniable that the Mana Vault Deseret package was a bit egregious.
2 cards at once, though. That's Christmas Dreamland, right?
Yeah.
One of
Well,
them
one's
shooters, the
the
other
other.
one.
Which
I think
I
I think that the Tezzeret Mana Vault interaction is a 3-point interaction.
Okay. I mean, we had people playing that package in lands, Mana Vault Tezzeret, which is like, when these things start to pop up in weird places, I think that's, pretty surefire sign that they're a bit underpointed.
Yeah, it's a 0 point. Sorry, it was a 1-point way to make 6 mana. It's a bit strong. I think Richard, when he's saying this is the second best ritual, is including Dark Ritual in that conversation and Black Lotus because this can be tinkered.
Yeah, this is the best Tinker Ritual. But I'm not sure. I'm sure it's a Tinker
maybe-
Storm deck can
not-
play
not
Lotus
any-
Tinker without this,
Not anymore, but obviously Storm's being quite nerfed.
So Storm will split, right? Like you'll have Tinker Storm and you'll have more spell-based Storm? Or you think
No,
one
I
just dies?
I think you'll just have JP Storm and no one else playing it because JP just likes playing Storm.
You think Richard will
I
play
think
something else?
Tinker
Oh,
gets
no,
a lot worse
I don't
without
think
Mana
he'll play
Vault.
it anymore.
Um,
I don't think
you have to
anyone will be playing
play. You have to play Mana Vault and Grim Monolith. If you're playing Tinker in your Storm deck, and now you can't fit Mana Vault, I'm not sure if you're still playing Tinker or not.
Paul likes to Storm. He'll come up with something, little something.
Yeah, but my Storm doesn't have a Black Lotus in it. I got all these points first. Free.
Well, we hit that too,
Yeah, even before like Tezzeret and Mana Vault got these points, the Lotusless Storm deck was not very good. So
No.
I can't imagine it somehow gaining equity when it just copped 2 additional points.
I can see Storm going a bit
Both-
more towards the Doomsday side of things again. Instead, putting Doomsday back in the deck and maybe
It's a lot more
personal shooter and
fragile.
stuff. A lot more
A lot easier
fragile.
to-
a
yeah,
lot,
a lot easier to beat.
A lot more slow play.
yeah, you have to pack a ridiculous amount of artifact hate. Instead, you can kind of focus on the other
You
areas.
can still
you're
have
directed
your
hate.
own game plan because you don't have to bring 12 cards in to go from a 31% win rate to a 32% win rate.
Yeah, but who would do that?
Yeah, some
Thinking like a
crackhead.
Walks player.
The local starfish enjoyer.
Doomsday. Do you have to tap LED for that combo? Yes, you do. When your Urza's out, right? Yeah. Interesting. Well, let's move down to the other heinous old.
The blue is not.
It's not the same.
Oh, you're more.
Black Lotus 1, 2, 5. So Storm obviously is a very, very powerful deck, and obviously it's Lotus Storm is the name of the deck that most people call it, and this is one of the key cards. This is kind of this is the Storm card, right? It's kind of their main thing, and I think everyone here is in agreement that it going to 5 is a good thing. I would like to mention, I think Richard would have preferred a pointing on like Bolas' Citadel or some other payoff than Black Lotus. But I think that in the end they decided to go for Black Lotus itself. What do you think, guys? Is this vindication? Like our prayers have finally been answered?
By our,
I'm just
you mean
upset that Bass's
Nathan.
list gets hit a bit. Rest in peace, Bass's artifact shenanigans.
Yeah, now Lotus sits amongst A-Call, Crypt, and Time Walk, right? Like, you look at that list of 4 cards with Lotus in there, and they feel right together.
Oh, doesn't.
clearly the best ritual in the game.
The Mana Vault players will tell you, or the Mana Crypt players will tell you otherwise.
I think this
So,
is
like-
really good
Still
game, just
that's a
because
concern.
Nathan's going to save a lot of money on therapy. He's going to have to, take some sessions if Lotus Storm didn't get really smashed to pieces.
It's true. I did need some therapy, but the fact that only a handful of people in the room could actually get their hands on the cards required to play the deck is like a very feels bad thing. So I'm glad that it's going to 5 points just for accessibility reasons.
Yeah,
Where the points sit in the deck doesn't really make a difference in that regard, though, does it? Like, unless there's a viable Black Lotus less Storm list, like, it's still just points on the archetype. The archetype is inaccessible regardless whether Black Lotus is 4 or 5.
I'm talking like those are two separate points. Like I'm glad it's at 5 because of accessibility, but if they left it at 4 and put Bolas' Citadel or Yawgmoth's Will to 1 point, for example, you could still build a very functional Tinker Storm deck cutting the Yawgmoth's Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Nathan, you raised the point earlier. It's sort of there isn't really a viable Lotus less list.
Yeah,
they've hit the right thing in my opinion here.
Wait, did we just call Cull's list non-viable?
Dude, I called
Sorry,
it not
Lotus
viable.
less Storm. Let me clarify.
Sorry,
Pretty
win.
dull,
It's
right?
called
they
win.
have hit it.
It's called Winless
Yeah, Winless Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old old
I
Tudor.
think this does make it harder to split the deck up into like a Tinker deck and a non-Tinker deck because the core piece being 5 points is like a bit tricky. So I'm kind of
Wait, how is Time Vault so high on this? Time Vault game is just...
Time Vault is so good, but I think that was like, is it Russell? That's like a Time Vault gamer. And there was a couple of Time Vault
Russell
players.
And Michael did really good.
Yeah, I got smashed by a Time Vault gamer. I like mulliganed exactly for Static Prison. Static Prison to the Time Vault. I was like, I'm such a gamer. And then they just played Wilder Grindstone from hand and just Grindstone me. I'm pretty sad. Yeah, Time Vault. But look at Lotus Storm. That's crazy. It also, it is. I don't think it was 2 players at the event to end all events on Lotus Storm, right?
In the top 8.
Not on Lotus. That for Time Vault. Time Vault had 2
Time Vault, yeah.
high-placing players, but Michael and Russell. But I think there were a few other Time Vaults in the room, but those 2 are the 2 I remember being quite high up. Lotus had closer to 4 or 5.
Yeah, 2 Time Vault gamers, I've been told. Yeah. Okay, well, let's I'll quickly scroll down here as well. There's a couple of fun decks down here.
Oh.
Geez, someone trying to fight the field with Painter combo. We love that.
Thoracle,
I'm on with that.
Did he?
yeah, a couple of cool, interesting lists here. Like Demi Moons showing up this low is really interesting.
Pilots.
I mean, the Minions was picked up by a lot of newer players. So
Yeah.
True.
might have influenced it being a budget deck that people
Legends
were told
as
it's going to be
well.
good.
Reanimator is the real, I think, sort of deck that would be considered good that's that low. Like, it has a lot of top 8s for the year, but it's put up a really bad showing at the Winter Lotus.
It's the people's deck, and the people sucked.
Alright.
Jeez, we're gonna start calling people freaks here.
Whoa.
I know Lance. Lance is good. All that matters, really.
Lance did do good. If enough monkeys get on the keyboard. Alright, anyway.
Alright.
Alright.
Interesting, Boros had a pretty low showing as well. Looking at
always.
those numbers. Again, another sort of entry-level friendly deck.
Alright, well that's our points announcement for Avatar The Last Airbender. Our next one will be, can't believe I'm saying this, our next one will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What do you mean you can't
Zeros and
believe
a
you're
half
hyped for
shell.
cards already? There is
pretty
2
happy.
cards from that set in your deck list already.
I got some questions. I got some questions for you guys to fill out this discussion as we go. So, first question: what card wasn't pointed during this update that you feel like should have been pointed? What did they miss?
Start with Billy. Start
I
with
think.
Billy.
Oh, all right.
Start with Billy.
In this essay, I will. People don't want to hear me rant about Brainstorm again. I guess from a what's actually going to take a notable position in the field, people have been raising Breach, people have been raising Nadu, I guess, as decks that didn't really get hit that have been quite competitive. But I think I agree with the people who say that, like, it's not really the job of the committee or the goal of the committee or the aim of the committee to, force changes that heavy-handedly, at least, like, and especially in a preemptive sort of fashion, like, Underworld Breach has been sort of close thereabouts and might take over, so therefore, we're going to hit it. I wouldn't really think that's a road they want to go down.
Yeah, I agree. I think preemptive pointings are probably incorrect. You want to give people a chance to play with their toys. So now that X strategy is weak, give the oppressed decks a chance to shine, and then if they shine a bit too brightly, then address them. I think that's a very
Also,
healthy and fun way to approach the format.
The obvious one of Time Walk to 8.
Yeah,
Right,
see,
but,
that's why I wanted you to talk first. So we get the nonsense out of the way.
Well, I mean, if we put it to 8, no one will be able to play it, and then
Yeah, I'll play my reserve list free Time Walk deck.
I thought you'd play Time Warp or something,
Alright, Jack wanted to say. What was your point, Jack?
Oh, I completely forgot. But it was probably something about Breach copying less points than Eldrazi or something.
You've been on a crusade to get Saga pointed for some reason, even though we don't want that. You've been beating that drum.
Yeah, well, no, I don't like. I can find how stuff pointed now. I wouldn't have added Saga to this list. I would have changed around things to put Saga on there. But I think Breach and Nadi are the two that I can also see getting up next. But there's no point pre-pointing things like an imaginary meta, like some people may want to do. I think it'd be interesting to see what happens and if they do actually put in the work, or if it'll be a 6 out of 8 top decks at CanCon or Grixis anyway. So, it's all inevitable. Nothing's real.
Our deck has like 8,000 points to play with, so I don't know. I don't really understand why it's not performing better than it is.
Which deck kicks?
Nadu. It just has so many points to like spend on whatever it wants.
Yeah, if we looked at the data, I'm pretty sure Nadu wasn't negative, right? It was positive win rate, because that's the card I would have said that I'm sort of not surprised it missed a pointing, but like Cull said before, good old Jack, next on the list.
Yeah, I don't see Nadu here. Oh, it is here. There it is.
There it is. You went past it. It's like...
Oh, what's it below? What's Nadu below there?
It's below Breach, Bomberman, Taxes, Grixis, Midrange, Bots, Breach, Bond Walks, Academy, Food.
Alright, so what Jack's saying is point lands.
Yeah. I mean, that's also something that raised, right? People are raising Strip Mine, people are raising Fastbot. Cole's on a one-man mission to get as a Saga pointed for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, after having... this isn't my choice, but after having played Strip Mine a lot, yeah, I'm starting to think of that, like, when the committee put it to 1, I was like, now I'm starting to look at, like, wow, that was a ballsy choice to make, because that card is pretty messed up, and Ice Till Explorer is great, but that's not my choice for the card they missed.
Oh, that was something. I'm glad that the Ragavan, Baragoth, and Deadpool might finally mean that Jund doesn't play 4 out of 7 points in Ren and 6 Waste. So, like, they might actually play Jund cards and not land cards. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Play Deadpool and Baragoth, right?
Yeah, surely. Get away from my cards. Get your own.
Yeah, I want to see Culling Ritual.
I do want to say, Nick,
yes.
Culling Ritual, you did predict 6 out of the 7 pointings. The only one you missed was Time Walk. Instead of... God, what was it?
Yeah, what did I say?
You wanted Time Walk, Lotus, Tez, Deadpool, Goyf,
yeah, I edited Time Walk to Rage Bait Nathan.
I actually changed my Urza Saga from Mana Vault. I should have fucking just left it on Mana Vault.
Yeah. I still strip wasties out of my deck.
I had minus gamble in mine. I was never making it.
Time walks
Free
up and
gamble.
follow.
If I had left it, I would have been 6 out of 7 because I picked Fast Bond, which I think is a very
was a
strong
hate.
effect. And I have a question for you guys. Where are we at on Fast
Where
Bond?
are we at on Fast Bond? What's happening with that
I
card?
think it's fine.
It's
I think-
zero. It's sick.
A 0, and it's staying at 0.
You know what's really fun? When your land's opponent plays a turn on Fast Bond, plays like 3 lands, and then passes back to you with 1 card in hand. And you're like, great, I have a swords. Whatever you do next, I'm just going to swords it, and then you have nothing left.
Yeah, Fast Bomb was so good there where they just ramped with no other cards in their hand.
Yeah, I'll Philia bounce your.
Yeah, but
Barret Lage.
how do you beat them when they play 5 lands? You can't.
Shut up.
They have no
I've lost
advantage.
again.
You have 7.
That's it. All right. Who hasn't given us a card that they wish would be pointed? Anyone?
You, mate.
Me? I think Urza Saga's good enough to go to 2.
Here we go.
I've got one.
I don't really disagree, to be honest.
No, I think
I've got 2.
yeah.
Give me
My base take for this stream is not about cards
You
getting
can't
pointed
pull
up
your
or
own
down.
deck base.
It's about public points discussion as a channel, but let's leave that for later.
Oh,
All right,
here we
guys.
go.
Come on. Listen.
We got Jordan in the chat going dismember to 1.
Yeah.
Dismember.
Dismember.
That one.
That's not ridiculous. That's
That's
not
not-
ridiculous
that's
to
not-
say that.
That's
Remember?
Funny
Dismember.
joke.
The
Inventors
Radnor's
Fair.
poll- Yeah, the Radnor's poll from Pog last week. Some other ones that people mentioned that wanting to go up were Philia. We had a couple of votes on that. Thoughts on Philia going up?
I mean,
Agreed.
if you want Failure to go up, you're just a freak who keeps playing Urza Saga. That's me, by the way. Well, because Failure just like solos Urza Saga, right? You just flash it in, you blink their construct, and they just look like an idiot with their little 1 mana thing that they got out of a land. Failure is so messed up, but I don't think it's a 1-point card just because the decks that play Failure aren't ridiculously heinous, and I think Walks is the only one that does that, and you should just point Time Walk to 6 so that they don't get to play anything but the combo, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Follow up to all this. What depointings do you think they missed this time round?
Hey, that was my question I was about to ask.
Gamble. Give me gamble.
Crap, I've
Yeah.
stolen
Make it
this.
happen.
You've stolen it. Good job.
Free
Okay.
gamble.
Free gamble?
Point everything and free gamble. I don't know if you have to
Nah.
put breach to 6 and intuition to 7.
Deezy wants his
Just
fish.
free the gamble.
I've
Zombie's too good, so let's put Gamble to 0.
I want
with
to play more
pointing them
Thoracle.
all.
I want to play more Thoracle. I just don't want to play against more Thoracle. So like,
Okay, so Nathan's
so
cycle
I
costs 2 points.
get a personal D point. No, my base. If we're allowed to base our own takes, my base take is balance. I want to play that card free.
You can, it's 1
Yeah,
point.
No, I want to play for free.
I would like
That's
to
pretty
see
hot.
Celestial Recall cast against me at some point. Yeah, it did actually happen the other week. Graham did it, and it was sick. He actually cast it twice. But I would like to see it down to 4 just to see it, see if it breaks anything. If it does, put it back up. But I want to see more A-calls.
I want to see Gush. Gush is kind of like A-Call, but cooler. But I assume you have to shoot like Grixis or Red-Black. But I think Red-Blue
The
also.
first one's at
Big
0.
Point brainstorm in
Yeah.
response. That's my
Making
call.
Doomsday
Depointing
good
Gush,
again.
brainstorm.
With Gush would be cool. And making Uro Mythic Sanctuary piles cool with Gush. Again, costing 1. If Uro stuck at 2 would be cool, but
You can
there's
all
probably
agree
more
that
things like Gamble that have to happen first.
crop rotation going to 0 would just be a fantastic thing for everyone.
Nope.
It'll be a net positive
Oh,
in
yeah,
every
new
aspect.
land, man. I will say though, the card disadvantage tutors, JD had a pretty hot take on those, saying a lot of those should be depointed. Your Vamp, your Imp, your Gamble.
You should get a point if you play Enlightened Shooter on purpose.
Your crop rot. That's a card disadvantage tutor.
I don't know. That's card disadvantage when you play Life from the Loam, buddy. What about
Dude, you were a Lance player for like 6 months.
Freya-
I know the power of that deck, dude. Tabernacle is like a heinous Magic card that nobody talks about. That card is so messed up.
One time walk.
That card
Everybody
is.
talks about it, mate. It's all they talk about.
No one talks about that card. That card is so messed up. It just stonewalls so many creature-based strategies, and no one talks about. Anyway,
Yeah, correct.
actual deep pointing. So, what about Ancestral Recall? That was one that people wanted to see go down to 4. Are we happy to look at it like that, where it's Black Lotus, Mana Crypt, Time Walk, Recall, or do we want to see Recall down to 4?
I think you could put Recall and Crypt down, and it would be okay for a little bit.
Which is where it belongs, I think. But Recall could go down.
Crypt could stay at 4, I think, if you put it down. Just don't feed into all the initiative drama, or people be like, it's fine, just unpoint the 4 mana once.
I like the base takes
Ignore those
about
people.
initiative. When you bring back initiative,
That's
Okay,
rage bait. That's rage bait.
Yeah, I'm not falling for it.
not.
It's a Monday. I'm alert.
It's it rewards combat, being on the board. Good times.
Yeah, but I don't want to be on the board.
Said no
Yes,
one
you
ever.
do.
That's what we got in the chat.
Good fair magic.
All right.
We had yeah, sorry.
No, if you have something to say, I'm going to move on to the next question. But if you want to,
I saw Daisy saying free fish in chat. A couple of the locals at POG also agreed. Would like a true name nemesis, that sort of thing, depointed. Feeling.
We can't do that. Well, you can't do that because Merfolk will just take over the format.
naturally,
yes.
naturally.
The true name
Lauren's coming.
nemesis point is like the Cheeto holding the door shut. As soon as
The
that point's gone.
Mr. Burns
The
virus
format
is
is
in the door.
unnoticed. Lorwyn is coming and Merfolk are coming. It's going to be tough for
And
the
so
format.
is
and that's
Billy.
what's- Yeah.
It's okay.
When
It's
that
not Warwind Horizons 4, so we're all safe there.
I mean,
the
we've
next round
gotten
event's gonna be a Merfolk.
we've gotten some really powerful cards from standard sets recently. Things like Tezzeret, Momo, Playful Pet, Kaido, Bane of Nightmares.
One of these things is not
No one's playing Kaido. I get it.
Raven Charm.
The modality on that card is anyone
That was
talked.
Modern Horizons, sorry. That was, of course it was so strong.
Come on.
The modality. Has anyone talked about the
Has
modality?
anyone talked about the modality
That
of
card
Raven
is so
Charm?
good.
Hey, I play that in your Pauper deck. It's great.
Yeah, it owns. I put Cull in the ground with it.
Yeah, Dredge can't beat a Raven Charm, dude.
Your whole deck falls to a little charm. All right. Let's talk. I know we kept it for a bit later, but let's talk about a little bit about Misstep. Misstep was pointed, and then we saw cards like Mana Vault. Also, Vance jumped in and said, "Good set of pointings," and also Mike said that Thraber Charms played in Boris in Modern, which is good. I agree, Vance. It is a great set of pointings. Misstep has cleared the way for Ragavan, Tamio, Mana Vault. It might just be a coincidence, but it could also be a causation that it was the card that was, keeping those cards at bay, or at least, reducing the amount of times we would see that card, take over the game. Do we think that the format is better now that Misstep is pointed and Tamio and Ragavan have been pointed? Or do we think the format was better when they were both, 1 point cards and Misstep was 0?
It's better now. I think it was inevitable for a bunch of 1 point cards to go to 2 when Misstep got depointed, and it was a whole thing of like, oh, what do you do? Like, all these 1 point cards would be so good. We knew it was going to happen. I think Misstep being at 1 is a lot better for the format. I mean, I'm still paying a point for it, and it feels good. And I think this is just bound to happen eventually, so it's fine. It's going to be good. It's all going to even out the Laura thermodynamics, but with 1-drop cards.
I liked Misstep. I don't know what effect it has on, a metagame and stuff. I'm not that smart, but I liked the, sort of do they have it, do they not have it kind of game. I get that it's, sort of impossible to play around and all that, but I definitely liked that it gave stack interaction to decks, non-blue decks basically, like decks that don't have access to that sort of effect. Obviously, you could pay a point for it, but I think it leaving the format hurt non-blue decks more than blue decks as a whole, which I'm not a huge fan of, just given, how the relative position of those decks are generally speaking. But I think it had to go to 1 just so that we could move on from that conversation. I don't think there's as much conversation about does it need to go back down. So
Yeah.
probably frees up a lot of
Yeah.
mental space for everyone.
Yeah, it's less a conversation of does it go down or do you run it.
A lot of these points, I think, will have the people that have been paying the point for misstep since it got pointed, considering whether they keep playing it after these pointings. Because now we're getting a bit more, not aggressive pointings, but like points that people have been asking for a while in the black mid-range core and in these 1-drops and stuff like that. There's not as many free points now in all the decks that might be running the misstep. So it'd be cool to see if people do keep paying the point for it now or not.
It has seen enough play to justify it, I think. That's for sure.
I like
I'm sure people are still doing that after these pointings.
The removal of misstep from like the main sort of like 59 plus misstep sort of lists, I think was a great boon when it first got pointed. And I think with more points being added to the list for these things that were free or close to free at one point, that there is some actual deck building decisions to be made, whether or not you feel like the misstep point is worth it, whether or not you need to get that extra point to play your cards like your Frog at 2 or your Tameo at 2. I think less on-rails deck building is something that I'm a big fan of for the format. So more points the better.
Blue decks can play misstep at 0. Blue decks have to pay a point.
Maybe. Vance is
Pointed as a companion.
Vance is in the chat saying that he wishes the extra point was on a blue card instead of Ragavan and Baragorth to make other mid-range Eclipse decks viable. Shout out to Jordan, whose deck just got dragged into the alleyway and shot. But yeah, I think I agree. I think that one card we haven't spoken about at all during the stream is Force of Will. What do we think about Force of Will as a card that maybe dodged a pointing? And Brainstorm. Yep, true.
Force dodging a point is a big claim, I think. Like, I get this free counter spell.
I don't think it's ridiculous. I don't think Force at 2 or Brainstorm at 1 is anywhere out of the realm. I mean, I'd point at least one of them. I wouldn't put both together at once, but one of them would make me happy.
I honestly feel like if you're going to pay a point for a free counterspell, you're better off paying for Misstep than Force of Will. That's my take.
That's a
hot take. Have you played these cards?
I played against Nathan once in the...
You can't pitch Plagon to Misstep, buddy.
Yeah, I played against Nathan once. He pitched a Thassa's Oracle to his Force of Will, and then he put his hands on his head like, how do I win now? And then since then he hasn't played a Force of Will deck, so...
Yeah, and I just cast Psychic Frog because it was 0 points each time.
Dude, I looked back at those decks and it's heinous. Dude.
My deck is 18 points now.
Yeah.
The deck that I started playing the format with a year ago is 18 points.
Good riddance.
I think Force protecting your stuff is possibly a 2-point card. Force stopping things is maybe a 1-point card. Obviously, you can't make that distinction on a points list.
But we do point based on its ceiling, right? On its good uses, not its bad uses.
I think it would be totally reasonable, actually. It would be very strange to have an update where you're trying to, stop an oppressive combo deck and also put Force up, just because people associate Force as this like safety valve. I don't think that's a real thing because it's 1 card out of 60. But people do make that association in their minds, and so it would seem quite odd to be like, okay, we need to keep Storm in check, but also Force of Will's going up.
I think it's actually a point that actually significantly hits Grixis in its core, and the blue mid-range decks would actually cop something rather than just being like, oh, I'll cut my Ragavan to keep my Tameo or whatever, whatever they end up doing after this. I think pointing the Force does actually hit them personally.
If we want the Grixis core, I've got a card for you.
Gurmag Angler? We're talking Tombstalker? What are we talking about?
I think you might know.
What? Let's talk about Brainstorm then. Let's go. We have time. It's the Brainstorm discussion time.
We don't have time.
We've only been live for an hour and 10 minutes, so we can we can talk about Brainstorm for a bit. I did want to segue into kind of everyone's most based, or most, I don't know, I forgot the word is, their take that would cause the most amount of controversy if it was posted in public points discussion. And I think maybe Brainstorm is a good place to start, but I know, Billy, you specifically have a great take. Great is maybe not the right word, but a take about the pointing philosophy of the format. Do you want to tell us about your idea?
I have no idea what you're referring to. Is this Brainstorm related?
No, this is
Blue
putting a point on every single...
cantrip.
Putting points on cards based on their inherent power level instead of their implication on the format. So deciding to, look at a card and say, well, this is clearly a 1-point card because of its power level, instead of the way that we currently point.
In relation to Brainstorm, or just
Pardon?
in relation to Brainstorm, or more broadly?
Just more broadly, I think your take on the pointing philosophy is you have time to talk about it.
I think
This
when
is your
cards,
old man rants at clouds.
Yeah, this is it. Do your thing. Yeah, this is your take. You have a few minutes. I want to hear it.
I've got my Cloud Midgar Mercenary ready.
I think this is, partially how things are pointed already, right? Like, obviously you point cards based on power, but I think to some extent we point based on, trying to balance metagames. And I think as you lean more towards that inherent power of cards, you offer yourself a little more future proofing for, shifting metagames and shifting in response to cards being printed. And I think some portion of the community feels this way. You see it with cards like Fastbond, where, it's not necessarily causing issues being at 0, but people just feel, and I said this to somebody who casts Fastbond, a lot. People just feel like it's a 1-point interaction when someone goes, Fastbond, dump my hand, here's a Merit Lage or something, kill you. And even though lands is not necessarily, tearing up the metagame and causing problems in that sense, people feel like, a Fastbond coming down is basically just a point-worthy, interaction, or a point-worthy play pattern. And you see it with, many other cards as well. And I think that, there's this sort of divide in how people view that, whether we should be pointing based off, the inherent power or the ceiling of these cards, or whether we should be pointing to try and balance a metagame. And I think the more you lean towards doing it based off power, inherent power of cards, the more you sort of future-proof things as new cards are printed and new interactions, become clear. Like, for example, like a Tamiyo Brainstorm, like they're potentially going to keep printing cards that, have some sort of interaction with drawing X number of cards per turn, like Tamiyo flipping off 3, for example. For Brainstorm specifically, I think that the difference between Blue X mid-range, Grixis for shorthand, but it could be any color, Sultai, Esper, whatever. The difference between Grixis and something like Jund is that blue cantrip core, that cantrip suite that allows you to find either the best, pointed or unpointed threats more readily in games, or just reduce variance within games, or reduce the amount you have to mulligan. And so I think that putting points onto cards like Baragloif, which is obviously going to hit Jund and Grixis, that could be, your goal could be to hit Jund and Grixis at the same time. And if it is, that's great. But I think if you're trying to point, for example, targeting a point on Grixis or targeting a point on Blue X mid-range more broadly, then I think putting it on something like Brainstorm, which I think should be pointed just on power, makes a lot of sense in that regard.
Yeah, Brainstorm, I think we actually have a quote, not an exact quote, but we do have it somewhere where Jozza said that he would play Brainstorm at 1. He would play it. It would just be a same.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by that at all. Like, I think, I know that some people think 1-point Brainstorm would be self-banning it, and, it's quite possible they're correct. And if you did that, you might find that that's the case. But I would also, my take would be way further to the other side. I think that it would possibly dip quite a lot initially, but I think after a while, like 9 months down the line or whatever, I think it'd be probably the most played pointed card, if not, up there. Just because I don't think 1-point on Brainstorm would be enough to shift that Blue X core from being, the thing to do in terms of reducing variance and all that. So I think people would find pretty quickly that you're better off spending a point on Brainstorm and then an unpointed threat, just due to the rate that Wizards prints them. as opposed to spending your points on either a shittier cantrip or something else, and then a pointed threat. I think that would. That's how I think that would play out, but I could be totally wrong on that.
Yeah, so more aggressively pointing the entire format to reduce that variance. You mentioned
that's an Nathan take. More aggressive pointings is an Nathan take.
Yeah, Will's takes just put everything in a vacuum, and then
pointing on a vacuum, I think, leads to a more aggressive pointing, though.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean,
there are a lot of powerful cards. Look at Natty Order or Atraxa and that sort of thing.
Well, interesting. Do you have any other takes even before I get to mine while Vance is in the chat?
I'll give you a hot take because I'm going to head off in a second.
Yeah, please.
My hottest take is after your point breach or something, 1 or 2 more times, we should -1 gamble, -1 red and 6, and then just for fun, -1 divining top.
These are not hot takes.
-1 the cards I play is always a good take.
Yep, great take. Good job. You'd be perfect in public's points discussion.
They see so much play at 1, dude. Or 0.
Send to PPD as Nathan's Vassal.
I have a extremely hot take that will get a lot of people fired up. Walks to 5.
Nope. Okay, next. Isn't walk already 5? What the fuck are you talking about?
Like the whole package 5.
No.
Give me 2 points.
Oh, with Seeker.
Yeah. Give me 2 points for the deck.
Nathan, wow.
Guys, I only top 4. I couldn't close it out. I need 1 point, guys. Come on. Alright, I'm gonna head off. I'll catch you later. I'll enjoy watching the rest of this VOD.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Alright, let's talk about public points discussion for a second. Okay? My take today that I made and I have had for a while is that they should delete the channel and it should be gone. We should just hide it and it's gone forever. I don't want to elaborate too much on this because it's not really a format, take like based on pointings and stuff, but I do think that public points discussion does not, like, sometimes there's good conversations, but I think that there's often a much more negative stigma that exists around the channel that almost everyone has. I think that everyone I talk to about that channel kind of rolls their eyes when I bring it up, and that's not hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole.
Yes, whatever that word means. Whatever that word means, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not it genuinely is. Like, how many people do you talk to at weeklies where you say, "Did you see that person talking in public PPD?" and they just roll their eyes and go, "Yes, of course I saw it. It gave me psychic damage," and that happens every week. I think, and there's obviously, I do understand that, if you deleted the channel, hid it from people, that people would take those conversations to other places. I do agree, but I also think that there would just be a net less amount of people jumping onto the Discord and yelling into the void because they're angry about what happened at weeklies. I think that'll happen less when they don't have a place to do it specifically. People still will, and that's fine, but I just think that overall we would see less of it, and it costs us not much to just hide the chat for a month and see what happens. I do know that obviously mods, it does, mods would have to, I don't know if mods would have to spend more time policing the Discord, but yeah. I also agree, if people were less trolling in PPD, it would help, but it's a mix of, and by some people, obviously Vance talking about everybody that we're in this call right now, when he says if people were like... Alright.
I left.
Yes, you did leave the channel months ago.
I've never been a part of
this. You can't pin this on me.
Alright. Well, me and Nathan...
Wait. I have a couple of...
Yeah, please, I want to hear you what you want to say.
Okay, my first thing is I troll significantly less in that channel than I used to.
Okay. Reformed.
The second one is I think that this format is incredibly over-engineered in terms of how we look at curating the health of it, how we look at the data that exists. The format is way too small to draw meaningful conclusions from data. Like, we have had this like one event recently where we were able to gather some data from it, but until we have the next 300 plus event in a year's time or whatever, we probably won't be able to draw any really meaningful data. And I think that because the format relies so much on vibes to point, that without a PPD, it's kind of hard to get a sense from like one location what the format is feeling like. So unless you were to have like a lot more big, meaningful tournaments where people actually showed up with decks that they had practiced and worked on, and like, so Pat's like, shout out Pat and what he did at the Winter Lotus by having all of these tournaments that like lead up for the Invitational and whatnot. We actually had a very steady stream of data coming in, and like from our weekly roundups and stuff, we were able to get like a meaningful sort of litmus test for what the format feels and looks like. If that circuit didn't exist, and we're just sort of reporting on weeklies where people are just rocking up with things like lands and breach bond and stuff, and not really trying to win, then we would have
That's
like we would have a lot less.
You can't even get to talk about I'm not trolling without trolling, dude. This is how bad you are.
But yeah, like, I think the data doesn't support the kind of point philosophy that people want, and therefore they shout into the void and thinking they have some objective knowledge of what's good and what's bad, when it's literally impossible to have that objective knowledge because there's just not enough Highlander being played.
Agreed.
So I think...
Can I jump in? With my... as someone who used to, post in public points discussion quite a lot, and then I just left the main Discord because we were told to simmer down. I have the opposite view to Capers in that I think you should just let it be a cesspool. Like, just don't moderate it so heavily. Let it be people yelling at each other in the void, and that's totally fine and fun even. Like, I don't think that it needs to be a super serious thing. I don't think it's true that if there's less nonsense discussion in there, that there would be all these, reasoned scholars waiting to post their well-articulated arguments. I don't think that's a reality. So I think if you just called it, public points discussion memes that just let people go crazy, who cares? Obviously, I'm not saying, let people... There's still a moderation, aspect to the whole Discord, but I don't think PPD needs to be more heavily enforced in terms of, this has to be a really serious space for points discussion. I just don't think that that's ever going to be a meaningful avenue. I don't think it ever has been. I don't think it ever will be. So
yeah, I agree with letting people have a place where they can freely speak their mind, obviously. And
like, the community has decided that that's PPD,
right.
not means and nonsense.
I'm back. Just want to read Jordan's. Jordan said there's an obscene effort gap in this format, and it's conversations between people who engage with the format casually and people who grind and actually tune decks. The current form of PPD fails to provide a platform which bridges that gap. I agree. I also think that I agree with Billy as well. There's not academics just waiting till PPD gets deleted and then suddenly they'll fill the Discord with meaningful conversation. But I think that on Nathan's point, people just look at the channel as a way to, the committee's going to read the channel. I better yell about this card that I keep losing to at weeklies, and it doesn't. I just think that it's an interesting thing to consider. Maybe what would happen if we did this. I think going in and saying, well, if we didn't do it, if we did do it, sorry, these people would post in other channels. We don't know what would happen, and I don't know. The take I get from
What do you think about the idea? I think this is true. I think that probably somewhere in the region of like 75 to 80% of the serious discussion that happens in PPD is born from conversations that start as people basically just shit posting, shit talking. Like, I don't think those two things are separate. I think they're very intertwined, and most of the serious discussion that actually happens is very heavily intertwined with the shitposting that happens. At least it was when I was in there, where people will raise a point, in a joking way, and that's what causes serious discussion. And when I think you stop people from raising points in joking ways, you mostly just kill discussion.
Maybe.
I think a lot of people don't have the academic background to form an argument that is like cited and articulated correctly. And I think the belief that only people who write like that should be listened to is like super toxic. And it's just like, just because you have like academic background, you can come in and your opinion is worth more than someone else who doesn't necessarily have the written communication skills that you have, but maybe has a better knowledge of what's happening in the format than you do. So there's some level of that, but I think part of the PPD problem is that the committee is in it, not because their opinions are not worth listening to, or that it's nothing against the committee at all. It's just the fact that the PPD, like, there's a lot of just shit that gets thrown in there that maybe shouldn't be listened to or even examined further. But it's not a moderation problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but
let
like the
people
committee
yell into
doesn't.
the voice.
Yeah, the committee shouldn't like consume that channel. Like, it should exist, but the committee doesn't necessarily need to play a role in that channel. I think that's
whether or not
probably
they should
healthier.
consume it, I think is largely irrelevant to just whether or not you should just let people yell it in the voice.
Do you think it's? Do you think that it's
unless people are being rude or abusive, I don't think actually letting people have really bad takes in PPD is an issue.
Do you think that? Yes, it is live, by the way. Sorry, somebody asked if it is. Do you think that the channel existing is a net positive for the format? You're obviously somebody, you go to weeklies every week, you talk to people. I don't know if you talk to people about PPD often, but I talk to people about the format, and everyone I speak to says that they just despise the channel. They laugh about it, or sometimes it does differ, but generally the response about PPD is always somewhat negative, and I'm just trying to kind of cleanse.
I think it's negative in an entertainment. I think it's negative in the same way that people will tell you that like reality TV is trash and then binge watch it. Like, I think people enjoy the fact that it's this cesspool.
I don't know. I feel like just like being like, well, let's have this cesspool. That's it's not a stain on the format, but let's have this cesspool where people can go in and argue about car. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if I agree. I think it's just something I wanted to bring up. It's a take that a lot of people will find me on, and that's great. But yeah, I think we could hide it.
I think a lot of people want a place where they can just sort of say, scream into the void, and have people react and get arced up a little bit. Good fun in the modern society.
But like,
people will just post in Highlander General if you get rid of PPD. Like, that is what will happen 100%. It might be less, but it'll just ruin Highlander General.
I don't know. Maybe it will. That's the thing. We don't know exactly what's going to happen once a channel like that gets hit, and there's no like 100. You can't 100% say this is going to happen when this happens.
Because Nathan couldn't even get through his "I'm not trolling" rant without trolling. You seriously think that people can like refrain from talking shit in Discord? Like, I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like if people have a less dedicated place to do it, they probably will be incentivized less to do it. Jordan has jumped in and said that he thinks community is a bit too emotionally attached to their deck and don't take pointings on the deck as a thing of pride, and people need to become unpointable in a delusion sense. Whatever. What is that?
I'm going to assume that's like delusional, but
delusional.
No. It's a philosophical.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan. My IQ is 76, buddy. You need to start bringing it down for me. Delulu, that's better. Who said Delulu? That's much better. Delulu's. Sorry, go on, Bill.
Capers plays food, of course, is Delulu.
Just disappointed in Capers' knowledge of French philosophy, but whatever. We'll move on.
French.
Look, as someone who engages with the format semi-casually, yeah, I agree. I would hate to see my deck pointed, and I love seeing other people's decks pointed.
Yep. Does anyone remember when playing on?
You get to gloat about that.
If you're hitting a plus 50% win rate and you don't get pointed, but Mr. 55 over there gets pointed.
I don't know. It's
And you want a place to celebrate that, and you go to PPD and
No,
you say,
no.
suck eggs.
When they pointed Planar Nexus, what was said in that channel during that time for me was like one of the most negative experiences I've ever had with this format, because there was people in there that were just like genuinely.
Why are you letting
Who's
people
got an
writing on an
alarm?
internet forum be like so negative?
It's
Close your eyes.
just
Go
walk
out.
away from the screen. What are you doing? Just walk.
doing even real.
The DCI throwing darts at a dartboard, mate.
Still, I don't know. It just felt like a lot of people were very angry because their card got pointed and they had a place to yell about it. But we've talked about.
If someone wants to dress up as a clown and say clown things, then you just laugh at them. Like, that's fine.
Maybe.
They get the glory of being a clown, and we get to laugh, and you move on.
Nonetheless.
I think the format is, and I've said this before, is a casual format. People will say, no, it's a competitive format. It started off as it's intended to be a competitive format. Like, yeah, sure, but it's not. Like, you can have the intent of it being competitive, and you have tournaments for it and whatnot. But the vast majority of people want to play a deck. They want to play their own thing. They're not looking to grind out and practice. They're not looking to take constructive criticism on their deck. They all want to brew their own thing. They want to. It's like and that's just Magic in general. Like, it's a super casual game. The vast amount of its player base is casual. There's no real reason to try and be very good at Magic. There's no reason to be very good at Highlander. Like, maybe you can.
What do you mean?
Spike.
The glory of being a clown.
Yeah, sure.
You
can like.
Gently... Yeah, you go.
You can like spike an event and maybe win a couple grand, but the amount of effort to reward is like massively disproportionate. There's no reason other than personal like drive.
Are you tying this back to PPD? What's your point?
So like the people that will be engaging in the format and jumping in and wanting to take part in the chat are more interested in their like enjoyment of a format rather than any sort of critical discourse to push that format to be the like most balancing it can be.
Yeah, I just want to add to what Jimbo said. Winning a Lotus in a casual format, the Magic itself, depending on how you look at it, some people describe it as a children's card game, but and some people call it a mix of chess, poker, all the rest. I think the format itself, 7 Point, is being propped up by several individuals in terms of pricing and size of events, and excitement is a big driver. And excitement as a casual player is awesome. When a store or a person announces a big event, you want to be there.
Like there was a CEDH tournament recently where they had a Black Lotus on the line, and they have multiple CEDH tournaments for like Time Twisters and stuff. Like, the prize support over in America for that format is crazy, but you wouldn't see any 7 Point player saying that CEDH is a real format. Like, like Magic is incredibly casual. Like, the amount of people that actually want to be at the top and then put in the work to actually be at the top is like, I don't know, there's less than 50 people in the entire format doing that.
Agreed, but like, how does that relate to we should get rid of PPD?
No, I'm not saying that we should get rid of it. I'm saying that you just have to. Yeah, I'm saying like PPD exists, and people are just going to scream and yell in it about whatever card they want, and it's not like the actual like points discussion is going to be meaningful only from a few people.
I think a lot of the effort comes from the casual engagement, though.
It's meaningful for entertainment.
We've seen this format grow ridiculously in last year. And so much of that is from casual engagement. People rocking up to weeklies, people wanting to brew, people wanting to, get involved with the latest 8 Point deck that's accessible, your Demir Moons, your Blue Moons. I think PPD is a place where, not necessarily everyone. I think if you're talking in PPD, you're already in that sort of very committed group of players. But it is a place where people can voice their opinions freely.
Yeah, I just don't think it's that serious, right? Like, it's an internet forum to discuss a card game. Like, it's just not a serious thing, and so it shouldn't be considered this, like, we have to maintain this level.
At a high level, yes, but
like,
it's like society placing importance on certain roles or jobs or anything.
Yeah, but why is PPD this space that's so sacred that we have to have these, like, academic level discussions? Like, just let people ship us in there. It's who cares?
My opinion was just like, you know, the reason I play Highlander as of late, especially as of late, has been how the motivation I have why I edit all these videos and spend all this time outside of Magic and then go and play is because it's the community and the people around me that keep me coming back to the game. I don't care about my results. I obviously try to be a very good player, but like Nathan said, I'm not actively putting in the time to be the best player in the world. I do try and get better all of the time, and that is a priority for me, but my main motivation is because of the community. And when I speak to people in the community and there's a consistent theme amongst those people and their thought about a part of the community that I love and enjoy, for me it just helped form this opinion that I think that the channel should go. I know that we're overanalyzing it. We spent 26 minutes talking about it, but you know, it just, I love the community. I love what people do, and a lot of people that I talk to think that the channel is not a good part of the community, and all I care about is that aspect of the game. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm talking about it and why I wanted to bring it up, I guess.
You should take your level of engagement with the format in the sense.
You're cutting out.
Me?
Yeah, get your face a little bit closer to that mic, buddy.
Well, the mic's in the headphones. But, I think you should take, like, if you're a casual player who just plays for fun, you should just take that mindset to PPD. It's just a place to talk a card game. Like, it's not a serious thing. You don't have to, like, take it seriously if someone says your card needs a point or whatever. Like, just laugh and move on, or argue with them for fun online. Like, people do that. People argue online for fun. Like, if you don't want to engage in that, don't engage in it. If you do, then dive in the slop and get in there with the pigs. Like,
get in there with the pigs.
Thank you.
It in a nutshell.
Shout out to Eki for hearing me do that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, thank you. Okay, sorry, go on, Brendan.
No, I had nothing to add.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree. Like, it's not that deep. It's just, you know, I wanted to bring it up. I think the format benefits from hiding that channel forever. But hey, we're at an hour and 38 minutes now. It's 7:39. We've gone over the points. We've gone over everything so far. Is there anything else we wanted to discuss in this time?
I would like to say something.
Okay.
Just, you know, obviously we've spent a while talking about PPD and the points announcement and, you know, whether we think things should have been different. But I would just like to say, you know, and I've said many times before when I was in the main Discord, like, shout out to the committee. You know, they run a really good format. Everyone's here because we love Magic, we love the format. And I think this in particular, you know, there was certain issues with the format, cards that need to be hit, decks that need to be hit, and they hit them. And we might disagree about, you know, this, that, and the other. But for the most part, I think it was a really good update. Format's in a good spot, and yeah, just positive vibes.
Absolutely, yeah. The committee did a fantastic job. I'm always happy with the committee. Every time I speak to anybody in the committee, they are super receptive. I think they picked all the good ones when they decided who was going to be on the committee. So yeah, a great points update. And yeah, just shout out to another shout out to Pat for the event, Idle events as well. It was one of the coolest like Magic experiences for me. And things like that is why we've put in all this effort to talk for an hour and 40 minutes about a niche Australian format in a niche card game.
I know, man. You say niche, but being a nerd's pretty popular these days.
True, yep.
I look forward to when people can be full-time Highlander players. When you have someone that says, that's my, like, main format, well, it's not someone, but, like, a large amount of someone's saying that that's their main format. Like, that'll be
We're
good.
already there, aren't we?
Yeah, you were at Pog today, buddy. You play that game full time, mate. It's practically a job.
This is, no, like it's not a job, but like this is his main format, right? Like this is the format.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like there's a few of us, but like
I think there's a lot. I think a lot of the community play Pathfinder as their main format.
Yeah.
I don't
Play
agree. But...
Drifts and Harder. That's about it.
Cool. So we jamming a vintage draft?
No, I think it's gonna be in their time. I could be convinced, but I think some of us qualified for an exclusive. Sorry, yeah, some of us qualified for an exclusive invite-only event and want to be prepared. Jordan, if I recall correctly, we got you the invite to that event. I believe we made you.
Look, I'm qualified, so it can't be exclusive, right? Like they're letting me play, so it can't be that exclusive.
I should have bashed and knocked him out of contention. You're right, guys. That's my bad.
Yep. It's alright. It's okay. We have a whole year to laugh at Kixian for not making day 2.
Make one qualifier.
Oh, you're talking about the POG event. Sorry, the POG event. Okay, well. All I'm saying is, if I had played in those qualifiers, buddy, you might have found yourself at number 26. Was it top 25?
24.
24. You would have found yourself
a weird number in a 1v1 format, mate.
You would have found yourself 25th, buddy. Just saying that. I think unless anyone has anything else to do, I think we'll conclude it there, and then I can start the work of uploading this to YouTube.
Shout out to Capers. We got a shout out in the comments there. Shout out to Rad Nauseam. Capers is Rad Nauseam. Capers is doing all the editing, making all the videos and everything. So yeah, big ups to Capers.
Yeah, love that guy. He benches 120. Yep. Shout out Cole for his take on Tezzeret.
Shout out Cole, who just always wants to be shout out regardless of the occasion or what it's for.
Yep.
Shout out Cole.
And Stoney. Rest in peace, Stoney. Haven't seen him for a while.
RIP Stoney. Where is he?
Probably auctioning something off. Yeah, auctioning something off. Yeah.
Last I saw, he had a big bag of something, and he wandered off.
Jesus.
Big bag of magic cards.
Cheers for everyone joining in chat there as well. We always
thanks for listening to us rant.
Yep, we'll see you on the YouTubes. Please, if you haven't already, and you're following us on Twitch, if you're not following us on Twitch, follow us on Twitch. It helps us a lot. It's like really cool for getting our Twitch affiliate stuff thing going, so we can start, branching out and doing more stuff. All of us want to see the format grow, and we're trying to, utilize a platform like this to help. So, following us helps us a lot. So feel free, if you haven't already, to follow. It does actually help lots and lots. Appreciate all of you. And that's going to end our stream. We'll see you potentially next. I think the kind of like operating procedure at the moment is every Monday after work, and then maybe some others. So we have a Discord where you can find us all and see when we do stream.
This misinformation in the comments.
What's that?
6'1". I stood next to Capers and I'm 6'1". That fella is 5'10" at best.
I am absolutely 6'1". Yeah, no.
Shout
out the Discord, and also Nick, who's muted himself. If you want to jump into the Discord, there is a link in the description. Hopefully, yep, there is. I see that there. And our YouTube channel, I think we're almost at 300 subscribers. If you could hit us up there, that would be amazing. Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to cut the stream. Have a great night, everybody. And I'll see you in public points discussion.